Taylor, Derek Taylor from 680 CJOB. What's this week been like for you with the NFL draft and now the CFL draft?
Yeah, I think it's been a super exciting week for me overall. I mean, super excited about, the CFL draft last night and being able to get this opportunity here. And obviously Saturday was, a long day with the draft starting at 12 o'clock. And by the time I got, everything sorted out at night, there was a lot of emotions and stuff like that. But I'm really excited for all the opportunities coming up, that I got from both those drafts. And so just looking forward to keep going ahead with my journey.
When you learned you'd been drafted by the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, what did you think?
I was super excited, when they called me, I said, I'm doing fantastic now that you guys got the call. I think this is a great fit for me. Obviously a winning organization and who's been, at the top of the league for a long time. And so I think I'm super excited to go into a place with a great culture and a great coaching staff and front office there.
Thank you.
Go
Of
John
course.
Hodge, followed by Jeff Hamilton.
Hey Taylor, John Hodge from Three Down Nation. I wanted to ask you about these NFL opportunities. Obviously, you've got two mini camps lined up. I understand you had over a dozen mini camp invitations. When are those mini camps taking place, and what are you looking to show there?
Yeah, super excited about both the opportunities, mini camps. Obviously chose those places because I feel like there's, good situations for me to come in and compete. And I head to Green Bay tomorrow morning, early, and then Buffalo will be next week. And what I'm looking to show is that not only um, that I can compete with those guys, that I can excel, in those facilities and in that group, and just put my best foot forward and show these coaches that, I'm a guy that you can bet on and that I'm going to be successful at the next level.
How confident are you that you could earn an NFL contract? And if you don't earn an NFL contract, would you immediately sign up north?
Yeah. One thing I've always kind of said is my dream's always been a professional quarterback that's never been tied to a specific league. And, I'm super fired up about the opportunity here at Winnipeg. And talking about my confidence, I'm confident in myself and I'm confident that I'm going to go down to these mini camps and show the best that I can. And I'm hopeful that that will lead to a contract. But I'm definitely excited to get to Winnipeg and get to work if those don't work out.
Thanks.
Of course.
Okay, we'll go to Jeff Hamilton.
Hey Taylor, I'm wondering, do you feel a pressure on yourself as a Canadian quarterback, as a guy coming out of camp? Is not, you're kind of a rare example. I mean, we have the Nathan Rourke, who knows what happens with Curtis Rourke, but with yourself, like, do you feel an added pressure? Do you feel an excitement? Like, what are the feelings of being, drafted as a quarterback, high quarterback, in a rare position for a Canadian-born player?
Yeah, I think excitement's a great word for it. This is something that I've dreamed of for a long time of getting the chance to be a professional quarterback, and I think that I'm getting a very special and unique opportunity, like you said. And so for me, it's all about just excitement to make the most of it and doing what I can to continue this journey. This is the start line for me as a pro, and so this is just the beginning.
You've been described as intense, lots of passion, playing with anger. And I'm wondering, how do you, I mean, those are other people describing, your game. How would you describe your game? And how do you think, playing three down football, how do you feel like your time in U Sports has prepared you to be, hit the ground running as a quarterback at the pro level?
Yeah. The first thing I'll say when I'm describing myself, I think all those, kind of things you talked about can be described as a competitor. And I think that's, who I like to think of myself as a competitor. I think I'm a tough quarterback, who wants to do whatever he can to win for his team. And I think, that's what it all boils down to. Everything that I'm doing on the field is to win. And that's, where all those emotions come from. And then we're talking about my time in U Sports, I think that, I've been prepared because I have an offensive coordinator at Laurier who allowed me, to develop. He gave me a lot of trust with decision making. I got a lot of line of scrimmage control, and so I got a lot exposed to a lot of different offense. Also through my time, through the CFL internship program and getting to go, spend time in CFL camps and in CFL playbooks, and I think all that has really prepared me to hit the ground running here in Winnipeg.
Right on.
Go ahead, Tate, followed by Derek Taylor.
Hey, Taylor, Ed Tate from bluebombers.com. Congratulations, I guess. There seems like we talk about what you've got going on right now with the mini camps, but if you could just rewind, there's so much been going on for you even since the end of last season. How are you kind of managing everything from the Senior Bowl, from all this NFL attention? It seems like it must be a bit of a whirlwind.
For sure, it's been a super exciting couple months and since the end of the season for me, and I think that's fair to say it's been busy. You know, going from different All-Star game, from CGS to Tropical to Senior Bowl to Pro Day, and then getting these opportunities to interview with NFL teams and CFL teams through the back end of this process, and um, I think it's just been every step of the journey has been exciting. For me, this is what you want as an athlete, and especially as a Canadian quarterback. These are the opportunities that you dream of. And so it's been a ton of fun. It's definitely been busy, but it's been super exciting. So I think it's nice now to have situations that I get to go compete in, and I'm ready to take full advantage of them.
You mentioned the journey, and this is all part of it, Taylor. At some point, you're probably going to appreciate having some clarity too, right? This is the team I'm going to go practice with and be on.
Definitely. I think that, that's been the nice part of this week is that, now I get to look, forward and know, what situations I'm walking into, obviously going to Green Bay and Buffalo and then and getting drafted here to Winnipeg. I think that it's super exciting to have that clarity and have that, kind of vision in front of me now of what I got to do to go make the most of it. And you're right. It's nice to have that for sure.
I'll sneak in one more. Do you get the Bombers playbook already, or how do you handle all that stuff?
We just had one conversation on the phone. I'm sure we'll figure all that out in the next coming days, and I think they're very respectful that I'm going to Green Bay tomorrow morning, and so I'll probably be busy the next couple days in mini camp. But I'm sure that as soon as I can, I'll get that playbook and I'll get started. That's one of the things I love about football, and I know that this culture here is about hard work, and so I'm ready to get rolling as soon as I can.
Thank you, sir.
Of course.
Derek, go ahead.
Taylor, the CFL internship with Hamilton this past year, what did you take away from, be it Bo Levi Mitchell, Taylor Powell, professional quarterbacks, and working alongside them?
Yeah, I think I learned a lot, through all my experiences at the CFL internship program. This last one specifically in Hamilton, like you said, Bo and Taylor being there. Obviously, Taylor is a great backup, and he's deserved, an opportunity, and he's been getting it there behind Bo, and he got the opportunity to play last year. So just being able to, kind of mimic those guys' process day in and day out, see how Bo's led. Obviously, Bo has had a unbelievable career, Hall of Fame career, and so getting the chance to be in the room with him, see how he competes, see how he preps his receivers, and see how he sees the field was really important for me. And obviously, ultimately, too, they're both great guys. And seeing how they lead as people within the locker room and as humans on the team, I think that's just important as anything else. And I think you guys in Winnipeg understand that you guys are built on great people from the top down. And so I think that those are some things that I definitely picked up from those guys.
Just so I'm to clarify, did you have another internship other than 24?
Yeah, so I went to the Toronto Argonauts two previous years. So I've been to CFL internship 3 times, two with Toronto and one with Hamilton.
All right, just one final one from me. What do you make of 3 quarterbacks taken in the CFL draft for the first time in your lifetime?
Yeah, I think it's super exciting. Obviously, Rourke has deserved this opportunity as well. I've been following his along with his journey, and pretty cool that we both get to get picked, high. And obviously, Jonathan Senecal is an amazing U Sports player, and I'm super excited for him. I messaged him last night, telling him congrats, and he deserves an opportunity as well. So I think it's pretty cool that 3 of us get picked in this draft and are getting opportunities to go prove we can do it at the next level.
Thank you.
Go to John Hodge, please.
Taylor, you mentioned your dream is to be a professional quarterback, whether it's Green Bay, whether it's Buffalo, whether it's Winnipeg. You're obviously on the verge of accomplishing that. I'd imagine your next goal is to be a starter. I'm curious, do you have a timeline in mind? Is it 2026? Is it 27? At what point would you see yourself progressing to being a starter in the CFL or NFL?
I think for me, the most important, thing, and this is what I said to teams in interviews too, is my first year is all about, building trust with my offensive coordinator, building trust with my head coach, developing within a system. And for me, I think, yeah, of course, coming to the pros, your goal is to always, become the best version of yourself and the best player you can. And for me, that is ultimately to become a starter one day. But I think, putting a timeline on it isn't, doing myself justice. My job is to go into a building, develop, get better every single day, and build those relationships and that trust. So when I do get the opportunity to go out there and start, I can make the most of it.
Thanks.
Of course.
Jeff Hamilton, go ahead.
Hey Taylor, sorry, I don't think I mentioned where I'm from. Jeff Hamilton from the Winnipeg Free Press, but I'm just wondering if you have any connection to Winnipeg or the Bombers. Is there anyone on the roster that you know, or anyone that any familiarity that you're walking into?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Just even a couple weeks ago, Collaros was down training with out at the Chamber Sports, who's Shamad Chambers, who's a Laurier alumni, and throwing with some of the receivers there. And so I actually got the opportunity to throw with him a couple weeks before the draft, which was pretty cool. And so, I know Zach a little bit from that, and then Jake Kelly trains with them as well. So some of those guys that are from around here, Tanner Caldwalder, he's a Laurier alum, and so some of those guys I know for sure.
I wanted to ask you, the other part was asking you about Zach. Zach's, he's known as one of the best, if not the best, watching film, just being a great and always willing to give and to teach. I'm wondering, in the small glimpses that you got a chance to work with them, if you got any a better understanding of that, or like, and how much you're looking forward to working with him in a quarterback room.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you. Zach's, first of all, an unbelievable guy. I think, that's where it starts with. He's a great leader, and you can see that with the success that the Blue Bombers have had under him, under center for the past little bit. And I think that, even just getting to throw with him that one time, you can tell exactly what you're talking about. He's always trying to help guys out when I'm asking questions of him about offense he's been in or footwork on different things. He's very open, and I'm super excited to have the opportunity to learn from him. And he's one of the greats of this game. He's one of the greats of the CFL, and so I think super cool that I get to go to a place that has a guy like Zach there, and has done everything you can do at the CFL level, and super excited to learn everything I can from him.
Thank you.
Of course.
Derek, go ahead.
Taylor, you talk about Green Bay and Buffalo and going there to compete. Those teams are probably pretty set at starting quarterbacks. So what does go there and compete mean to you?
Yeah, you're right. They have situations where they have Jordan Love and Josh Allen, at the number one spots. But I think, when I talk about going there to compete, it's about going there to compete and earn a contract. And for me, that's something that's a super cool opportunity. And I want to show that I belong with the best players in the world. And so when I get to go into a building, two buildings like that have great cultures, winning cultures, and great coaching staff, especially on the offensive side of the ball. And I've done great things with their quarterbacks. It excites me that I get to go into a room like that and show that I belong and hopefully earn myself a spot in the roster.
At what point in your life did you realize, oh wait, I might be able to do this professionally?
Yeah, it's an interesting question because, as soon as I flipped over from hockey to football in 10th grade, my mind was set on playing professionally. And I've always been aware of the challenges and adversity that comes with being a Canadian quarterback, especially playing, quarterback in youth sports and not in Division One. But, for me, that's always been my goal. That's why I've been playing this game and working so hard. And, I knew there was boxes I needed to check in order to get to this opportunity. I knew I needed to, get in rooms and get developed, like the opportunities in the CFL internship program. I knew we needed to have a successful university career with our team and me individually. So I think that, I knew kind of the path I needed to take, especially following guys like Trey. So it's always been on like the front of my mind throughout this journey.
In the hockey thing, were you a little more Happy Gilmore than Doug Gilmore, and is that why you switched? Like, was hockey not going to be it?
I was a big tough defenseman when I played hockey. And so, the OHL draft isn't exactly looking for, your fighters, your tough big D men blocking shots. They're looking for the skill guys. And so in my minor midget year, that's who I was. I was our penalty killer, and I was realizing that was kind of be the top end of my hockey career.
Thank you.
Of course.
John, go ahead.
Taylor, I wanted to ask you about that transition to football. Like with your frame, was it ever like, oh, we're going to put you out at wide? Was it ever, we're going to get you to put on some weight and play, maybe some edge? Like when did it come about that somebody went, holy crap, you can really throw the football? Like for someone who's never done it, you can really throw the football.
Yeah, honestly, it was one of my buddies. I in grade 10, we were out there throwing, and he played wide out. And he was the quarterback at the time, at Oak Ridge Secondary, and he wanted to get back to wide out, and he saw me throwing, and he was like, "Dude, come be my quarterback. I need someone to throw the ball to, and you can do it." And so, came out that year for Oak Ridge and fell in love with it immediately. I think for me, the big thing was like the playbook aspect of the game. You talk about when I talk about what I was like in hockey, I was always a leader on my hockey teams, and I was always, using my physical abilities, like I said, being tough, but flipping over to football and really getting to use my brain and fall in love with the schematic part of the game. I think it kind of encompassed all my abilities perfectly. Being able to be the leader that guys look to in the huddle, being able to, use my mind and focus on scheme, but also being able to be physical and big and strong there in the pocket. So I think it was just kind of a natural transition when I flipped over.
And then from a technical standpoint, would you say you're mostly self-taught, like technique wise, like a lot of American quarterbacks, for instance, from the time they're 8 years old, they're going to camps all year round, like right, trying to get that edge, and you coming to it so late, do you just chalk it up to natural ability, or what kind of work have you done with coaches to kind of build that technique?
Yeah. First of all, I'll say I've been very lucky to work with great quarterback trainers, Coach Ben Neal from Quarterback Country. I spent a lot of time with him this offseason in Birmingham, Alabama, and even last offseason, going into my fourth year, I went down to Bama and spent time with him. And we've done a lot of work together on the technical side of the game, the mechanics side of the game, like you were talking about. But there's guys around here in Ontario who I've worked with as well, Will Finch. And QB movement, Miles Gibbons. I've spent time with both of those guys to work through, mechanics and I think I put a lot of hard work into it, and that's been part of it. But also, developing through those guys, and also, to be honest, the CFL internship program. I know I keep bringing it up, but Coach Mike Miller in Toronto, he did a great job with me in my freshman after my freshman year and after my second year in university to really try and polish me up and get me ready to develop.